Welcome to Village Church Connections. I'm David Pavey. When young King Amaziah of Judah came to power at the tender age of 25, he quickly proceeded to evaluate the size of his army. He mustered those people 20 years old or more and found that there were 300,000 men fit for military service, able to handle the spear and the shield. This story, by the way, is found in the Old Testament of the Bible in 2 Chronicles 25, starts at verse 9. Anyway, the king, dissatisfied with this number, then forked out 100 talents of silver to purchase the service of 100,000 mercenaries from his northern neighbor Israel, raising his fighting force now to 400,000. But a prophet warned Amaziah not to use these extra troops from Israel, because God was not with the mercenaries and would see to it that their efforts would not succeed. This disappointment left Amaziah in a quandary. What about the 100 talents I paid for these Israeli troops, he asked. What about the money I shelled out? It was bad enough to lose the support of 25% of his potential army. It was another to forfeit the money that he'd paid to hire them. This was just not good business. Doing God's will was one thing, but losing money on it was another. So Amaziah dismissed the troops who had come to him from Israel and sent them home. He did the right thing, obeying God and leaving the financial implications to him. The Lord can give you much more than this, the prophet had argued. Much more. Now there's a message here for us. God is not poor. He can more than take care of the financial implications of what he calls us to do. Divine approval is worth more than 100 miserable talents any day. He can take care of debts and deficits. A nation will always be able to pay its way when it obeys God and insists on honest financial dealings. Nations have always struggled with the financial implications of doing what is right. Slavery could have died decades before it did, if wealthy whites had not asked, in effect, "What about the 100 talents I paid?" Maybe national issues seem somewhat remote, but most of us struggle with this principle on the personal level. God may call us, for example, to give up a business partnership or to take up some new project to benefit the needy. Immediately we tend to ask with Amaziah, what about the financial implications? What about the money? True, the Bible teaches that we should count the cost before taking up a challenge, and we need to be good stewards of the funds God entrusts to us. But it also demonstrates how God provides. Listen to the unnamed prophet again. The Lord can give you much more than this. Not simply meet our needs, but provide abundantly, much more. Years ago, I resigned from a tenured teaching position in the California school system to head for the mission field with my young family, unsalaried. "Who's going to feed you?" asked a devoted friend of mine, as if we were animals in a zoo. We were scared enough without that haunting question. What about the 100 talents was already ringing in our ears. But now, after nearly 5 decades in Christian ministry, we can testify from experience that he has provided. God raised up a royal flock of ravens to care for our financial needs. He has enriched our lives through close fellowship with dedicated co-workers, and now has brought us to Shell Point. Our cup is running over. Perhaps yours is too. By pursuing God's will, we don't just make a living, we make a life. And thank you for tuning in to Village Church Connections.